Valery Katkala, who is the Deputy Rector of the Graduate School of Management. He's one of the leads one of the leading education establishments in this area and is known internationally. Thank you very much. I was very happy to hear what Yaroslav said, and so I'll give a few comments. I was very pleased to see that the key term of this panel discussion is competition and competitiveness, and I will touch on that. We are now looking very seriously at the level of our competitiveness, and looking at it, we need to change our assessment level of how good we are or bad we are. And we need to evaluate ourselves and our capabilities from the point of view of employers, including employers from other countries. And we have boards of governors, we have academic bodies who evaluate the levels of competitiveness. So we need to employ those mechanisms, and the state policy, the government policy, need to take that into account. We've been talking about criteria of selecting the best students. This is an issue which is very relevant for our master's degree courses. But if we want to enter the Bologna process, the master's degree tests and courses is something that would make our students, graduates, competitive. This should be taken up as a minimum in Russian universities, and I will talking about my subject is business education, university courses in business education. We must look at the capabilities of our students when we attract them to universities from the point of view whether they'll be able to enter this master's degree and finish it and able to get prestigious jobs. Secondly, what I'd like to say is we are looking at a changing paradigm of the university brand formation. In the past, we had two main programs: is the higher educational course, normal university program, and postgraduate course. But today, we need to not only to work faster, but also to change. We need to introduce graduate studies, master's degrees, PhD degrees, additional courses. Historically, we did not have equal or analogous programs to baccalaureates or master's degrees. And these are structural differences that we've always had. And these are structural challenges that we need to solve. So thirdly, what I wanted to emphasize is the issue of who we want to be competitive with in this global market. And perhaps I'll be banal in saying that in the 21st century, we are competing not only with the leading American and British universities, but we have to compete with Asian universities as well, Chinese, Singapore universities, and in Europe, a Finnish Aalto University, which opened its doors in January this year, is a very promising educational establishment. We need to study the best practice and the best experience in the world and become competitive with them on the same level playing field. We need to have courses, diploma courses in English, when we have them in Russian universities, they are English programs for the sake of English programs, and graduates would not be able to compete with their peers in the global market. Our brands must be powerful brands to be competitive, and they have to have solid foundation. Another problematic issue for our students is ability to speak English. This is a problem for professors, teachers, but also the administration of Russian universities. If we are serious about becoming competitive in the international market, we need to internationalize Russian universities and do it in a systematic way, not project by project. But we need to have, even if a university has 20 faculties, it needs to have at least one powerful international faculty. So we need to make serious steps, motivating steps, which would encourage such successes in systemic changes in Russian universities. And since Andrei Alexandrovich is here, I will allow myself to comment on those expectations which we have in terms of what the government is going to do next. PhD programs, for instance, today it takes 3 years for students who attend universities. So this is outside any kind of standards, international standards. Another issue is diplomas and their certification abroad. Thank you to Sergei, who mentioned our program, our international programs. We have 3 such courses whose diplomas are recognized outside of the university. We recruit professors from leading universities, including London universities. And for instance, one of the professors we invited from a London university wasn't able to get the job so far at his level because he did not pass a test that we take.
Besides that, we talk a lot about innovation, but mostly it's technological innovation. On the other hand, innovation in management, starting with Alfred Chandler, is often meant to be organizational innovation. We often ignore that. And research in business schools can be the kind of organizational innovation that is to be expected from our national research universities. And encouraging this sort of innovation is something we need for international competitiveness. Thank you very much. I have a brief question to address to you. Nostrification of degrees is indeed a big issue. Many of us hire people with degrees from foreign universities, and of course translating their thesis into Russian simply wouldn't work. But what about GMAT and TOEFL? Do you have any problems there? Can you use those exams as entrance exams under the Supervision Authority of Education? Well, let me answer in 3 short points. We use the privileges of St. Petersburg State University, and this allowed us to open a master's program in 1999, way back, because our rector applied to the Ministry of Higher Education to allow that as an experiment. We believe that this should stop being an experiment and become an established practice. Now that we have a degree that we teach and confer in English, we need some entrance requirements for that, and the sort of tests that would serve at the entrance level are very necessary. We use TOEFL and we use GMAT as entrance tests. And we have to simply use other terms for that, such as test of business English competence or something like that. So we just use it as something that we have to also charge for administering to people, although it's not legally admissible to do that if people are going to take free places.